Hi, welcome. You must have just gotten one of these kits. I'm Amanda, and this is my first YouTube video, so if there's something that you have a suggestion about, I am more than willing to hear it. But let's unpack our kit. In your kit, you're going to have some stuffing, 2 yarn needles, your 20 grams of yarn with a pre-started magic circle with your stitch marker in where your hook needs to go and a stitch marker in your first stitch so you can find it easily. There's also your hook. I have one right here. It's a 5.5 millimeter. All right. And 3 extra stitch markers. So you have 5 stitch markers, 2 yarn needles, a hook, your yarn, and your stuffing. Oh, and there is black yarn in here. Should be black yarn in here. Unless I took it out and that's, yep. This is your black yarn that I never put back in. All right, for the eyeballs. Playing it with it too much and it's coming apart. All right. So here I have my yarn needles, I have my crochet hook, I have some black yarn for the eyeballs, and I have my freshly started magic circle. If you need a tutorial for a magic circle, there are plenty. It is how I learned. Go ahead and look that up when you go to do your second octopus. For this one though, this is how I tension my yarn. Over, under, flip. So that way I can pull my yarn with my pointer finger and keep that tension. That's how I hold it. You don't have to. That's just my preference. So I'm going to take this off because I don't need it anymore because my hook is in there. I'm going to pull it tight. All right, so my stitch marker here is showing me where my first stitch goes. Here I can see my 2 strands of yarn, a top and a bottom, or an front and back. Okay, we're going to need to know front and back later. Okay, but not right now. Right now we're going to go through both. So I'm going to put that down momentarily. And put my hook through both. I'm going to have under both. Grab my yarn, single crochet, and I can either pull that or leave it on there. And I'm going to put my stitch marker right in that first stitch. That'll help me with making sure that I know where I am in my project. So for all of this round, we are going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So I did 1. So I'm going to go back into that same stitch and do a second one. These are called an increase. So we're going to increase, or 2 single crochets in every stitch. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. going to pause here because I got to my stitch marker, which means I made it all the way to my last stitch. And I'm going to double check that I have 16 stitches. So I'm going to pull this so that it doesn't go anywhere. And this is how I count my stitches. I can see right here on the top, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, my last one where my stitch marker is. All right, so I am good to go. I'm going to put my hook back in. I'm going to pull it, and when I'm pulling it, I'm going to make sure that the part pulling in is on top towards me. So this next round, we are going to do 3 single crochets in the first 3 stitches, so 1 in each, and then an increase in the 4th stitch. So I'm going to count by 5s this time instead of by 2s. Focus. Thank you. So I'm going to put my hook in my first stitch, my first single crochet. I'm going to put my marker back into that first stitch so that, again, I know where to stop. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then this next stitch I'm going to put 2, so stitches 4 and 5. 4, 5 in the same stitch. We're going to keep going until we have 20. You can count by 5s or however you want to count. 1, 2, 3. Remember, 4 and 5 are both going to be in the same stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the same stitch. And 1, 2, 3, and last one, 4, and 5. You can see I'm starting to curve. That's okay. This is going to be the inside. So where your yarn is the beginning, it's going to be the inside of your octopus. So it's okay if it curves up like this. We're just going to flip it as we go. Okay? So you can see here we have 1 circle, 2, and this was our 3rd round. So rounds 4, 5, 6, and 7, we are just going to put 1 single crochet in every stitch. So you're going to have 20 stitches in each round. So 4, 5, 6, and 7, 1 stitch in each. All right. I need to go check on dinner, and I will be right back to do those rounds with you. All right, and we're back. Dinner was great. Thank you for asking. Okay, so we're just going to do 20 stitches around. Again, I'm going to take my stitch marker out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, yep, 18, 19, 20. So that was round 4. 1, 2. You can count the bumps. 1 bump, 2 bumps, 3 bump, 4 bump. Okay, I'm gonna take my stitch marker out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That was number 4 and 5. So 1, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. 2 more rounds. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Last round of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so here I have my outside, it's my inside with my yarn tail. I have 20 stitches across or around, and I have 7 rounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we increased to get this shape. Now we need to decrease to make it our little octopus body more like a ball. So to do a decrease, first we are going to do 3 single crochets because we did 3 single crochets back here before we increased. So we're going to do 3 single crochets here before we decrease. 1, 2, 3. So now we are just going to use these front loops for our decrease. That way, these back loops can help prevent any big holes from happening and cover up some of that background, okay? So we're just going to use these front 2 loops of these next 2 stitches. I'm going to put my crochet hook just in this front loop. Oh, too far. There we go. So you see I only have the front, there's the back. And then, all right, this is a little tricky, but you can do it. I know you can. You can either go ahead and finagle your way into that second front loop, or I learned this from someone else on Instagram. I don't remember who it was, but it's a great trick. We're going to kind of lay our hook with the hook side facing us, and we're just going to spin it, and we'll be able to usually pick up, there it is, spin, spin, spin. All right, and we're going to single crochet like usual. So we're going to wrap over our yarn, pull through both of those, and then finish our single crochet. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember 4 and 5 we put together. Now 4 and 5 we're putting together, so we only have 4. We're going to do that again. 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to single crochet 2 together. We're going to decrease. Grab my front, and then spin, 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 spin. Didn't catch. Spin, 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 spin. There it is. Caught it. So I have my 2 front loops only. Pull through both of my front loops. Finish my single crochet. Do it again. 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Decrease, front loops only. Grab this front one. There we go. Spin, spin, spin. Catch it. Yes, first time. And pull through both those front loops. Finish our single crochet. 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. Front loops only. Yeah, don't be afraid to like spin your hook so that it works for you. Okay? All right, so we did our decrease round. Now we're going to get tricky again. This time we are going to do back loops only. This is important because we're going to use those front loops later on to make our legs. We're going to attach our legs. So here we are going to do back loops only. I'm just going to single crochet in every back loop. That'll be 16 back loops. So I'm going to take my hook out. And here you might want to use 2 stitch markers. I'm going to show you with 2 stitch markers. So I'm going to put it between those 2. So remember before we took that front loop, here we're only taking the back loop. Single crochet with my back loop only. So now I'm going to mark that stitch that I just made. As my first stitch, so I know when to stop. I'm going to take a second stitch marker and I'm going to mark that front loop that I did not crochet into. If you want to mark it before you crochet, you can, because I'm going to need that later and it can be tricky to find sometimes. So I'm going to mark it now. Okay? Great. So we're going to do 16 back loop only single crochets. All right, so we did my first one. 2, 3. You see our front loops here? 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. 14. 15. And 16. So here we are just going to take out this one with our full stitch. We're going to leave the one marking our front loop only. And we are going to finish off this part of the body. So how are you going to do that? This is how I do it. Other people have different ways. I'm just going to do a slip knot or a slip stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook like always, grab it, pull it through, and I'm going to pull it through again. I like to turn my hook to help me with that. Okay, slip stitch. And I'm going to just grab my yarn and pull it through here another time. Here you need your scissors. Where did I put my scissors? There they are. Okay. I'm going to leave a pretty long tail because I'm going to need to sew this off. All right, pretty long tail. That way I can sew my octopus closed. Okay? So I'm going to pull, 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 pull. Pull. Tight. All right. So now we have our body. Doesn't look like much so far, but this is our body. We are going to take our stuffing. You're going to take your stuffing and stuff. Right? If you want to loosen it up first, some people say that is a great idea. Probably is, depending how stuffed your stuffing is in the little baggie here, right? Loosen it up. Stuff. And if you want it really stuffed, you can. If you want it a looser stuff, you can do that too. I like to use my thumb, push it all the way around. There's still plenty of space in there, so I'm gonna loosen this up. Use my thumb. Kind of push it into all of the edges. That way it's not just going into the middle, because we want our stuffing to be spread out. Looks like I still have a little bit of room. Stuff as much as you see fit. A little bit more. And look, still stuffing left. All right, perfect. Had to make sure I had enough stuffing for you all. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so I have my long end. I'm going to take my needle. Go ahead, wiggle that in. And we are going to sew it closed. I'm going to show you how I do it. You can do it however you want. This is how I do it. So I'm going to put my thumb on top of that stuffing to make sure it stays where I want it to be. You can go in the first one. You can go in the second one. I'm going to go in the second one this time. And I'm going to just use that front loop again. All right? Because again, if it has a gap, I want that back loop to help with that gap. I'm going to pull, pull, pull. I'm going to skip one. I'm going to go in the next one, front loop only. And pull, pull, pull. Skip one. Next one. Skip one. Next one. Don't pull with all of your strength, otherwise you might break the yarn. But pull enough, right? Here, I can start to squish it closed. Oh, I just want the front. There we go. Oh, what am I doing? This one. If you go through all of them, like, that's fine. Do what works for you. You want to make sure that this pulls closed. That's your first objective. Need that stitch marker to stay right where it is, because that's marking my stitch. All right, so we were able to cinch it closed. Yoink, yoink. And then I can keep going if I want under some of these other ones. What I might do though instead is start to kind of go down one side and out the other, right? So I know that hole is somewhere in the middle. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm not really like, this isn't rocket science, all right? So it came out this hole, so I'm gonna not go back in that hole, otherwise it's gonna come apart again. I'm gonna go over a stitch or two, and I'm gonna come out the other side. And just keep gently pulling. And go over a stitch or two. Right here, here's good. Great, right there. Here's my middle. I'm gonna make sure I go to the other side. I'm just gonna do this a few times. You can do it 3, you can do it 7, however many you want. All right? And if you want to, I usually don't, but you can also put a knot here. Before you, don't come this way against the knot. Make sure your knot kind of flips over. And I'm just gonna pop it out through its head somewhere. Great. So now I have the octopus's body. And here, this little line that you see is where we're going to attach the legs. Okay? So with this, you can either cut it off, or what I'll do is I'll use my eye end of my needle and just kind of shove it all back inside, because it's just extra filling, right? It's just extra stuffing. You can use your needle, or if you have some nice pointy scissors, scissors work too. I'm not worried about it cutting the yarn because my scissors are closed. Sorry, it's a little tedious because I'm doing it through my phone camera. So, give me a second. Boop, 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 boop. Wiggle. And voila. All right. Cool, cool. Part 1 is complete. You have made a ball. You have made an octopus body. Sorry, it's so wiggly. Okay. So back to our stitch marker here. You're going to need your yarn again. All right. We're going to need to make a knot. I like to make a slip knot. Right? Actually, let me do the other way. Nope. So that, yeah, great. Okay. Make your X with your end on the bottom. So you have your little Cancer ribbon, okay? You're going to pull this end through the middle here. So you might do like that, but make sure this doesn't go anywhere, okay? And you have a slip knot. I like to do it with my fingers here and pull it through. Whatever works, okay? Do it one more time. Got your little ribbon. And then this end that's attached goes through the middle. There we go. So I'm gonna get my hook, stick it back in. Great. All right. You've made it this far. Don't give up on me now, okay? Don't give up on me now. You got this. So this stitch right here, we are going to stick our hook right into that stitch, okay? I'm gonna take out my stitch marker. I don't need it anymore because I'm going to keep going around until I have 8 legs, and then I'm going to stop, and that's going to be it. All right. So I have my knot and my loop from where I inserted my hook. I'm going to wrap around. I'm going to slip stitch. So I'm going to pull through the stitch on the octopus's body, and then I'm going to pull through my knot, and I have slip stitched. Okay. We are going to next do 4 half double crochets in this next stitch. Okay. So I'm going to wrap over, then put my hook into this next stitch. I'm going to pull through the stitch and pull through all 3 loops on my hook. That's 1. Wrap around. And if I pull, I can see my stitch here really easily. Two. Wrap around. Grab it. 3. Wrap around, insert, grab it, and 4. Congratulations, you have a leg. We're going to slip stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into this next little front loop, grab it, pull it through, and pull it through. I'm going to do this next leg. Again, 4 half double crochets. Wrap around, insert, grab it. You should have 3 loops on your hook, and pull through all 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch in the next one. Pull it through. Pull it through. I like to twist my hook a lot when I do my slip stitches because I just think it's really easier to point the hook part toward the pinchy part of the stitch. Like not the loop part, the other part. Okay. So where am I? I'm here. Next one, 4 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch. How many do I have? I have 1, 2, 3 legs. All right, so leg number 4. 4 more half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch. One, 2, 3, 4. And here's my next one, slip stitch. Half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 2 more. 4 half doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slip stitch. Not quite the last one. Almost. Last set of half doubles though. And here's my last one. So it's not going to line up exactly because we spiraled, right? We spiraled around for our body. And so it's going to be a little off, and that's okay. We're going to fudge it in a second. 1, 2, 3, and So here's where we're gonna fudge it. This first stitch where we first started with our knot and our slip stitch, we are going to stick our hook back in through there, okay? And slip stitch to close off our legs. Hard to do through the camera. Okay, got it. All right, and if it's not the exact same stitch, but it's closed off, we're gonna slip stitch. And I'm pulling it tight, that way it closes everything up nicely. And again, we're going to finish it off by just pulling through and cutting our yarn. And yoink, boom. You have a little Octo guy. He still needs eyes, and he needs these guys woven in. These are both knotted, so I don't do anything special with them. I put them on my needle and do exactly what we did before. So I'm gonna come into the inside here and just find whatever hole right inside the legs and just pop it up through the body somewhere. I'm gonna do that with both of these. If you wanna pop it up through the same hole and knot them together before you shove, shove, shove back into the body, you can do that. I'm not going to. All right, there we go. You might need to manhandle your octopus a little bit. All right, I'm gonna take my scissors, I'm gonna shove, shove, shove. If you want to cut it, you can cut it. A little extra stuffing, not gonna hurt. All right, there it is, gone. And I'm getting stuck down there. And it's okay if this is a little bit of struggle and you just cut it off. Totally okay to do. All right. Even it out a little bit. Woo! He is almost done. All right. So now you need your black yarn and your needle. We're so close, guys. Finishing touches. All right. There's plenty of black yarn here. So I'm going to just shove it in a hole in the back, wherever you think the back is. I'm going to come out somewhere. I like to do it right around here. All right, so if we push the Octo legs down 1, 2, 3 rows up from the legs, right? Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows down. But you put your eyeballs where you want them. I'm gonna pull it all the way until I have enough at the end so I can tie it off later, because this I will tie off. All right, so to make my eyes, I'm gonna go 1 hole over and insert my needle and go up 1 hole. So I'm gonna go in and go up 1 hole, okay? When I get most of the way pulled through, I'm not gonna pull it tight, it's loose. This is loose, because then I'm going to put my needle down and then I'm gonna go back into this same hole. And then I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3 holes over, and I'm gonna come out there, right? And so when I pull that, I'm gonna get, you might need to adjust a little bit, but I'm gonna get my happy eye, twist it a little bit, and just, you know, make it as tight or as loose as you want your eyes. There we go. So again, I'm here, I'm gonna go one over, in, and I'm gonna come out one up. I'm gonna pull it most of the way so it's loose. We're loose here. I'm gonna go top down, and then I'm gonna go back into that same hole. And I'm going to work my way so that my needle comes out where it went in at the beginning. So if you get it the first try, great. I didn't. I never get it the first try. All right. So going in the same hole. All right. I have to push. Here we are. You might need to adjust, and again, that's okay. Play with it, take it out, do it again, do it 5 times. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. And you can see I have a little stuffing coming out. You just clean that up. Just clean that up. So cute. We did it, guys. I'm going to cut these about even. I'm going to tie a square knot. So right over left, pull through. And this you can tighten. Tight, tight, tight. Left over right. Tight, tight, tight. And this I would not cut really close. If you want to cut it a little shorter, you can. But here you definitely want to just kind of shove it back in, okay? Because we don't want to cut too close and then have our eyeballs falling out later. That would be terrible. That would be actually the worst, because, yeah, what happens if you don't have black yarn later? All right? I like to, well, adjust. So cute. And he's done. You did it. Congratulations. It's done. You have an octopus. And after a while, you might have a collection of octopuses.